Mr. Speaker, I'm going to have to rise in opposition.
Opposition, please proceed.
You know, I wasn't expecting this to be a first reading adoption. As chair of the Hawaiian Affairs Committee, I do feel like we need to note the long history and contention of the military in Hawaii, from Makua Valley, the live firing there, to Pohakuloa, to Protect Kaho'olawe Ohana out in the 70s, to now in Niihau. This spans every island, every county. In Niihau, the Pacific Missile Defense, that they're literally throwing missiles into the reefs right outside Niihau and Kauai. To a lot of the people in those regions, any downsizing of those types of operations will be welcomed. In fact, this might not go far enough. I rise in opposition to this measure because I support the Army. I support the moves that the Army is doing. If they say strategically this is what they want to do, move their troops to Philippines closer to North Korea, then fine. I think we should support their efforts. We say it's political. A previous speaker mentioned it's a monetary issue. I think he meant fiscal policy. But actually, the Pentagon did a study, as well as a cross-ideological consensus report, and they came to the conclusion that this downsizing across the nation isn't going to affect the safety of our country at all. As a matter of fact, we're going to keep as much troops as we had during the Cold War era, post-World War II era. We'll be plenty safe. There's no, in this modern society, the number of troops doesn't necessarily correlate with the safety of a nation. It's purely technological. Regarding jobs, the economy, we noted that it's a $1.35 billion loss to their economy. But when we're talking about economic diversification and moving beyond just tourism, military, and real estate that has been our state's sole focus in my entire lifetime, then this should be welcome, because that $1.3 billion, that's freeing up the economy. Any economist will say you need economic sunset to see economic sunrise. That $1.3 billion can be agriculture, can be technology. And the jobs, 19,000 or 20,000 jobs. These are people with high skills that could be hired by Boeing and tons of private contractors. So when I hear my usually open market, private sector driven colleagues saying that this is a bad thing, these are public sector jobs that could go to the private sector. Why are we trying to hold on to this? Like, they'll make more money, it's better for the economy, and that's what we should be facilitating. If we think that's the timeline of that isn't imminent enough, then yeah, we should focus on facilitating that transition. Regarding land and houses, if we think that the Barber Point situation was so sad, then let's facilitate that. Let's make a plan now. We have a resolution to figure out what's going to happen to this land, as opposed to saying, we need your help, federal government, big brother, keep feeding us under the table, and we'll take what we can get. You know, while our state has pursued tourism, real estate, and military spending, we Hawaiians have blazed the trail to economic diversification. We have taken on the task of rescuing our language, history, arts, and sciences, and we have now exposed thousands of people around the world to the genius of native Hawaiian agriculture and aquaculture. Our students have come to universities in record numbers. And you know what fields we tend to gravitate towards? Social work, medicine, law, education, Hawaiian studies, and Hawaiian language, as though preparing ourselves to lead the state or serve or lead a nation. That's what I've seen a new generation of Hawaiians preparing in a positive and tolerant wave of imi ike and aloha. That's what economic diversification is about. It's not about holding on to sunsetting industries and taking the scraps we can from the federal government. It's about home rule and self-determination. That's what we should be focused on, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.